Good morning, guys, and you are welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Emmanuel, and today I will be talking about some of the common visa application mistakes and reason for some of the refusal in visa application, especially when it concerns student visa. Okay, so I'm gonna give you some information based on my research, the things that you must avoid and you must not do for you to increase your chances of being successful in your visa application, especially when it concerns student visa. I have to also emphasize that I am not an immigration expert or immigration agent, and I do not work for any organization or their affiliates. So the information I'm bringing to you today is based solely on my personal research. Okay, so always consult the appropriate authorities or the embassies in question for any visa related questions or inquiries. So now let's get into it. So if you want to study in Europe or anywhere, any part of the world, after you must have gotten your visa, the next thing would be to apply for, after you must have gotten your admission, right? So the next thing would be to apply for your visa. And that means you need to understand basically what are the requirements of that visa applications, depending on the category of visa you want to apply for, and of course the country you are planning to go for your studies. All right, so today I'm going to give you a general overview of the things that you must avoid or the things that you must not do to increase your chances of success in your visa application. The first point here is you must avoid incomplete documentation. Okay, always take your time to read carefully the requirements for the visa application. I'm focusing on student visa. So if you want to apply for your student visa and you have completed all the other necessary requirements, for example, you have gotten your admission, the next phase is to apply for your student visa. You must first of all understand the basic requirements for that category of visa, especially as it concerns the country you are planning to travel to for your study. So make sure every document that is listed is supplied by you. Always go to the embassy website and read carefully, right? Read carefully. I have to emphasize, read carefully every document that is listed for that particular application. And when you are not clear about what it means, you can always contact the embassy in question, send them an email, and then they will reply to you and then explain to you what that means. In most cases, they will reply to you. So always be free to ask questions before you lodge in your application. The second point is issue of funding. Most countries will always ask you to show proof of sufficient fund in your application, especially if you are trying to if you are trying to travel for student for study in that country. Even if you have gotten a scholarship or the school fees is cheap, it doesn't matter. You still have to show evidence of sufficient fund to take care of yourself while in that country. So always read carefully. What are the amounts required? What is how long does it have to stay in your account? What is how many months of statement account do you need to print for the visa application? Always be sure of these things. Funding is always one of the major issues that often lead to visa denial. You must make sure you have the appropriate amount of money in your account, and make sure that you are supplying account that is not fake, that is verifiable, that can be identified easily, and that is exactly what you say it is. Please do not supply any fake account. Most times they will find out, and if they find out, you might be facing the danger of being banned from coming to that country in a couple of years to come. So always make sure you get your funding correct, make sure your account statement is correct, and the amount of money required for that particular type of visa based on the country in question is in your account. The third point here is that do not submit fake documents. All right. Do not submit fake documents. This is something that you must not even contemplate twice. Don't even think about it. Always make sure every document you're submitting are genuine, they're verifiable, and they can be identified easily from your credentials to funding requirement to your application you filled. Everything has to be exactly the truth. Do not lie about them. Don't submit anything fake. If you're using an agent, which I don't always encourage, except you're using experts who are really genuine, in most cases, you can do this by yourself. Make sure you are supplying genuine and authentic documents. I have to emphasize, do not submit anything fake. If you are not ready with the required documents stipulated by the embassy in question, please be patient and take your time until when you get all the documents, then you can now launch in your application, right? Again, the fourth point, which is what I've just said earlier on, don't lie about anything concerning your application. Sometimes they'll ask you in the application form, have you been denied visa in the past? If you have been denied visa in the past, whether it's a different country or the country in question, please don't lie about it. Say so. And they will often ask you, state the reason for the refusal in the previous application or the reason for denial. Just say what it is, okay? Don't lie about it. For the fact that you have been denied before does not mean you're going to be denied again. You just have to meet the requirement at this time around. But when you lie about your previous unfavorable conditions or unfavorable outcome, then you have the intent to deceive or mislead the case worker who is going to assess your application, and they do not like this. You must be honest, state every unfavorable situation in your application in the past, say it the way it is, and make sure at this time around you supply the right documents. So once again, don't lie about your previous immigration status. Say what it is, okay? Don't falsify your name, don't change anything, stick with the same consistency of information in your previous application. The other one is the fifth point here is wrong filing of the application form. Make sure you fill the application form correctly. Some people, you might be surprised, something as simple as filling the application form correctly is a problem for them. Make sure you take your time to complete your application form exactly what it is. Make sure every supporting documents that you're going to use as part of your application is in line with what you fill in the form. Okay, there must not be discrepancies. Make sure you put your right date of birth, your address, the reason for your travel. Everything has to be accurate. Okay, please fill your application form correctly. Check it over and over again. Make sure every information that is there is clear and accurate, authentic, reliable, and verifiable. Okay, and then the other point here is that make sure you prepare for your visa interview extensively. Some countries will require you to come for interview face-to-face. Some countries would not require you to come for an interview face-to-face. So it depends on what are the requirements for each country. So, but I'm talking about if your country of destination wants you to come for an interview, you have to prepare extensively for the interview. Make sure you understand the course you are traveling to study, the content, what are your goals, what are your motivation for that course, what do you tend to achieve during the program or after the completion of your study, what are your long-term goals. You have to understand everything about the course you are intending to study. You must be clear on that, understand the composition of the course, what it entails, and what are your desires, your expectations, your motivation for choosing that particular course. So when you come for an interview, the caseworker or the immigration officer who is going to interview you will want to be sure that you are actually going to study, that you're not going to do something else. And you have to assure the person based on how you respond to the questions asked. And if the person sees that you're not very sure about what you're saying, or there is an inconsistency in your responses, or you appear to be dubious or misleading or not to be sure of what you're saying, they are not going to be convinced that the exact reason for your traveling is for you to study. The caseworker does not care about what you put on paper. Sometimes they want to, if they're trying to invite you for an interview, they want to see that what you put on paper is exactly what you are telling them in front of them. So make sure you prepare for your interview extensively. Know everything about your course, about the country, about the university, and everything that's going to enhance your chances. But even if the embassy does not require you to come for an interview, make sure all the documents you're going to supply for your application are standardized. They are verifiable. They are authentic. Some countries require you to do some authentication of your documents. Then you have to do that. If you have to translate those documents into their native language, depends on the countries, then you have to do that. Always make sure you check all the procedures, all the protocols, and make sure you follow these things religiously and consistently. And if you can do all this, at least you have given yourself a fair chance of being successful. Okay? Then you have to be careful about your application. This is a life-changing decision, so you cannot play with it. And make sure you are genuinely seeking for this visa. And make sure every document you are supplying are authentic, accurate, and verifiable. So once again, I'm going to run down through this point again. First one, avoid incomplete documentation. You must provide all documents stated by the embassy in question. Second point, make sure the fund is sufficient as stipulated by the embassy in question. Number three, don't submit fake documents. Don't lie about your previous visa unfavorable situation. If you have been denied in the past and they asked you in the application form, please say so. Do not lie. And then don't fill your form carelessly. Make sure you complete your form. Check it over and over again and make sure everything is accurate, authentic, verifiable. Okay? And then make sure you prepare for your visa interview if the embassy requires you to come for an interview. So these are some of the things I want you to understand to increase your chances of getting a visa, especially if you are trying to study in Europe or any part of the world as a student. Okay? So again, make sure you are truthful, you are honest, you are not lying about anything, and prepare very well for it. Take your time to get every necessary documents that are required. And if you can do all these things, then at least you stand a chance of being successful. I hope this will help you to make an informed decision during your visa application processes. Again, I am not an immigration agent. I am not an immigration expert. This information is simply based on my personal research on this topic. And I hope it will help you to make a better informed decision, okay, during your visa application. Once again, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel and please share this video and drop your question below the comment section. I do most times respond to my questions asked in my channel. I try to do that as much as I can and as fast as I see them. Once again, thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for sharing my videos. My desire is to help you with the right information, and your job is to use them for your own advantage. But don't forget, very important, in all that you do, always give it a human face. I am the Human Investor. Thank you and have a great day.